It's January 2025, and the start of a new year is always a good time to set some goals for the year ahead. And one of my goals for the new year is to get organized and to try to be a bit more productive each and every day. It sounds like an easy goal, but I struggle to stay organized. Sometimes it feels like there's this messy, chaotic, disorganized monster that wants to destroy my productivity. But with the right tools, I can defeat him. I can stay organized. So I did what I always do. I've added some new tech and accessories to my setup that are already making an impact and helping me stay organized and accomplish a bit more every day. Welcome back to Work From Hype. I've got some sweet new tech that I can't wait to show you guys at the desk, but first I want to show you my new favorite way to take notes at my desk. This is the Sidekick Notepad, and it's a notebook that's designed to fit right beneath your keyboard on your desk. This design does two very interesting things. First, it keeps your notes close by, so you can glance down at them while you're working or check something off your to-do list. And second, this design means it's also a wrist rest for your keyboard. When I'm typing, sometimes I forget that my arms are resting on a notepad. And if you were curious about the ink rubbing off the paper and onto your wrists while typing, well, so was I, and that was the first thing I tested, and it was not an issue for me, at least not with this cheap pen and ink that I'm using. But if you take notes with like a Sharpie or something, you may get a different result. Every page has a section for a date and a title, along with a sidebar for your to-do lists and reminders. And I've paired this section of the notepad with another productivity accessory at my desk.
Nice.
This is a Pomodoro Timer, and in case you're not familiar with the concept, the Pomodoro technique is just a method of breaking up your 8-hour workday into smaller, more manageable segments of time, usually in 30-minute or 1-hour increments. What I've been doing is taking a task on my to-do list from my notepad, then setting the timer for 45 minutes and doing as much as I can for that task, and then taking a 5 to 10-minute break to wrap up each hour. All these little rituals add up, and this timer and checklist approach is helping me stay productive and feel less overwhelmed by all of the tasks I need to complete. But as much as these new accessories are helping me, every workday does come to an end, and there are usually items on my task list that I've not completed. To make sure I don't forget anything at the end of the day, I'll review any open tasks and then add them to my digital calendar. I recently mounted a Samsung Frame TV to the wall in my office. It's basically a digital picture frame that doubles as a second monitor for my PC, allowing me to display my calendar during the workday. But since I published that video, I did make one big improvement, and that's to my calendar software. When Notion offered to sponsor this video, I immediately said yes, because I've been using Notion to run this YouTube channel since the very first video. But recently I made the jump to Notion Calendar, which not only integrates all of my YouTube projects from Notion, but it also syncs with my personal calendar, so everything in my life is here in one organized view. And if you've never tried Notion before, allow me to run down some of the reasons why it's been my go-to for years. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I sometimes struggle to stay organized, which is why I use Notion as a sort of second brain. Anytime I have an idea for a project or a video, I immediately add it to my Notion board. And it could be anything from a single sentence or basic idea for a project. But over time, as I develop these ideas, I move them from left to right on my board, from a basic concept to a fully edited YouTube video. This second brain system has been huge for me. I do everything in Notion, from writing video scripts to creating mood boards for designing products. But if your brain is different than mine, that is okay. Notion is ridiculously customizable. You can create a Notion board for just about anything, from note-taking to running a small business. And if you don't feel like building a board from scratch, that's okay too. The Notion Marketplace is full of templates to get you started. Notion is free to use, and if you're interested in trying it for yourself, you can scan the QR code on screen or use my link in the description below. Next up is peripherals, where I've made some excellent new additions to this setup.
This thing is heavy, and that is a good sign.
I figured new year, new keyboard, so I've added the Made 68 by Melgeek to my setup. I use this desk for two things: getting work done and losing in Marvel Rivals because I only play Squirrel Girl. And this keyboard is great at both. The typing experience is super smooth. And from a design standpoint, this keyboard is super clean. Along the top edge of the keyboard is this tinted glass, and inside the glass is a diffused light bar. And I think the white case paired with this tinted glass and lighting effects look really clean on my desk. Plus, it pairs perfectly with this black and white aesthetic that I'm going for at this desk. But it's not all about looks. This keyboard is hiding some pro-tier gaming features under the hood. And that's because this keyboard uses magnet switches, which not only give you the fastest possible response for gaming, but you can customize the sensitivity to dial in the exact level of pressure you want for your game of choice. And it may be the placebo effect, but I swear, when I use this keyboard, I am slightly less awful at Marvel Rivals. And because this is a wired keyboard, I decided to add a nice coiled cable to complete the look. Now let's talk mice. I think ergonomics and productivity are closely related. The more comfortable I am while I work, the more productive I tend to be. And so for the mouse, I'm currently using the Logitech Ergo M575S. This mouse is designed to reduce arm movements and fatigue. When using it, your hand stays in one spot on the desk, and you move your cursor by rotating this trackball with your thumb. The shape and profile of this mouse is almost vertical, which keeps your wrist in a much more natural position while still giving you a scroll wheel and a few programmable buttons like you'd get on a regular mouse. I've been testing this Ergo mouse for about a month, and while the trackball does have a learning curve, I found my wrists are less sore at the end of the day. Though that said, when the workday is done and it's time for me to get whooped in Marvel Rivals, I will slide the Ergo out of the way and switch back to my G Pro Superlight. Speaking of ergonomics, I'm a big believer in standing desks. I added this standing desk to my office last year, and I find that alternating between sitting and standing during the day helps me feel a bit more energized. But I do have this bad habit where I'm standing at my desk and I lock my feet into a single position until they're kind of sore, which is probably bad for my body. So I picked up a balance board. The idea is simple. The board is curved on the bottom, and when you stand on the board, you need to move around a bit to keep your balance. The top of the board has a nice layer of foam padding, which is way nicer on my feet than the floor, and although I don't use the balance board every time I stand at my desk, it's been a great option to have if I want to keep moving and stay energized at my desk, which again helps me stay productive. The final item on this list is for my fellow creators out there, or anyone who uses an iPhone and finds themselves with large files in storage that they don't know how to transfer. This is a Magsafe SSD, and it's been a great addition to my portable workflow. When I make videos, there are times when I'm not near my camera, and I pull out my iPhone to capture some footage. This is an iPhone 15, which can record videos in ProRes, which basically means the video quality is great, but the files are massive, which is where the Magsafe SSD comes in. The SSD connects to the iPhone over USB-C with a super slim cable, but instead of hanging loose off the bottom of the phone, the magnet keeps it pinned to the back of the device. Now I can record videos directly to the SSD, and when it's time to transfer the files to my Mac, I can just disconnect the SSD and plug it right into my computer. It's simple, but it's made using my iPhone for video much easier. And that is going to do it for today's video. These were the productive accessories and pieces of tech that I've been using at my setup to start the new year, and I've really been enjoying them. I'm always curious to hear what new additions you guys have made to your own setup, so be sure to let us know in the comments below. As always, my name is Nick Mo. Thank you guys for watching Work From Hype, and I will see you in the next one.